Hello guys, I hope that you're having a nice day. Today we continue with the last unit of the book. Today we have lesson 2 and lesson 3. These are quite simple and we have some audios. So I think this is is a better idea if we do it by YouTube and not in a Zoom class, so you can check again uh, the audios. And also the grammar is not difficult, so I don't think that it is necessary to have a Zoom class. So in this case, we're gonna have a YouTube again. All right, guys. If you checked the last video, you know that in this unit we're gonna talk about the nature, right? And for this lesson, we have warned about a possible risk. What are these risks? Well, we have in here some vocabulary, but also we have some ways to introduce it. So besides to taking into account this kind of nouns, these adjectives, we have to check also the phrase that it is before. So I'm gonna play it for you.
Read and listen. It can be quite dangerous.
It can be very rocky.
It can be extremely steep.
It can be so slippery.
It can be pretty dark.
It can be terribly exhausting.
It can be really foggy.
All right, so we have it can be. That's like the phrase we're gonna use to describe a danger or a risk. Now we have quite and very, those are synonyms. Extremely, so all those kind of intensifiers or adjectives can help us to describe better a location. Without this, I think only of Cerro de la Silla. You know, that's the first thing it comes to my mind. Maybe not very steep because we don't have stairs, but it can be really exhausting. You know, if you have gone the entrance when we still have like a street and houses, oh boy, that sure is like you get very, very tired and you're not even in the mountain, you're still on the street. But it can be, oh my God, really hard to arrive. All right, some places we have, the first is a path, that is like a way, a cliff, that's like the end of a mountain, and a cave. That's like, well, like here in the picture. In Monterrey, we have some cliffs, caves, and well, many paths. So, all right, we're gonna use that. The other risk we're gonna talk about are animals and insects, all right? Again, we have a phrase to introduce. In this case, we have two, to introduce or to warn to the other people who is not used to the animals or to the wildlife from the place. All right, so well, let's check it out.
Listen and repeat. A snake. A shark.
A jellyfish. A bear.
A scorpion. A mosquito.
All right, and the introduction, as you see in here, watch out for sharks or jellyfish. Keep an eye out for mosquitoes, scorpions, many more. If you have gone to a desert or you have or a place where it's kind of a desert, you have to be very careful with scorpions. Also, in some places, I remember when some years ago, I went to Cadereyta to a kind of a rancho. It was very small, but it was something like that. And I remember they had many, many scorpions in the house. Like, well, it's part of the nature, right? But it was dangerous for that. So I don't know if you know any other place that has this kind of dangers. Well, mosquitoes we have everywhere, but in some places it's like you can get like Zika or dengue or those kind of things. Well, all right, guys, the next thing we're gonna have is an audio. The exercise B, we have to infer, to like think or guess what the person is talking about. We're gonna check it out. and put a check mark, I'm sorry, if the speaker thinks the place is risky or not. Okay, so here it is.
Listen to the conversations. Check if the speaker thinks the place is risky or not. Conversation 1.
I can't wait to see the waterfall. They say it's really beautiful.
Oh, it's a must-see, but be careful.
Why?
Just watch out on your way down. The path can be really slippery. You don't want to fall.
Don't worry. I'll be careful.
And make sure you bring something for the mosquitoes. They can be terrible this time of year.
Okay, I will.
Conversation 2. Well, I'll be heading off for Sorak Mountain tomorrow morning.
Wow, that's great. First time?
Uh-huh.
Well, keep an eye out for bears, okay? They say it's good to make a lot of noise while you're hiking there.
I'll do that.
And make sure you bring a lot of water. They say that hiking the path can be quite exhausting if you're not used to it.
Okay. Conversation 3.
Is it okay to go swimming in the bay here?
Definitely. It's beautiful, and the water is great.
I heard there were a lot of scorpions there. Is that true?
On the beach? I don't think so.
Are you sure? Someone said I should be careful.
Who told you that? We go to the beach there all the time.
What about jellyfish?
Don't worry about it. We've gone swimming there for years, and we've never had a problem.
Conversation 4.
I'd like to take a walk north of the town to see the cliffs.
Great idea. The views of the ocean are fantastic. But make sure you stay on the path, okay? The cliffs are really steep and it's dangerous to stand too close to the edge.
Thanks for the warning.
Well, one other thing. I'm sure you won't have a problem, but keep an eye out for snakes.
You're kidding. For real?
Well, there are snakes in the area. Just be careful and I'm sure you'll be fine.
Right, guys? So if you want to check it again, you can go back in the video. And well, we have to listen again, or you can do it in this video, and complete each statement with the possible risk. Okay? And we have the conversation. So I'm not gonna play it again because, well, you can like go back and check it. All right, guys. Then we have on the next page some grammar. I think that this grammar is quite simple, and again, you can find it from English 1, maybe 2, but I remember that we have it on the first course, and it's the to as an intensifier plus an adjective and an infinitive. Maybe on English 1 we don't have it like this this long, but we have to as an intensifier. All right. So well, let's check it. The first thing it says, use to plus an adjective and an infinitive to give a warning or an explanation. And it's quite simple to use. It says in the first example, it's too dark to go hiking now. This means that if you don't go hiking because it's pretty dark. All right, and we can make many examples like this. The another one, those cliffs are too steep to climb. Okay, maybe here in Monterrey we can say it is too hot to play soccer outside. You know, when it's like 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. and the sun is pretty strong. You know, we can do it like that. We don't have to say like super complex stuff. We can only talk about the simple things from everyday life. Or maybe another example could be it's too wet to put it with my other clothes. You know, maybe like last night on Wednesday, it was raining very hard. And you say when you get your clothes wet, you have to like let it dry. So you say like, oh, it's too wet to pack it in. Maybe you have to leave it outside for a while. All right. The next thing it says, use a for phrase to further clarify a warning or an explanation. All right. So we can say, it's too dangerous for children to go swimming there. All right. So we're giving like a little bit more details. Well, I don't know what else can I say, right? It's like quite simple. We only have to use two. If you remember, that's an intensifier and an adjective that has to do with the situation we are talking about. An infinitive, if you remember, we need two plus a verb. And well, the for phrase, it only help us to give a little bit more details. All right, guys, so you're gonna do the grammar practice. That's gonna be homework for you. For this, we have to complete the sentences using two plus an adjective and a for phrase plus an infinitive. All right. So I'm gonna help you with one and you do the other five. All right. So in the first thing we have, okay, here it is, how to write. All right. So remember, we have to use two, okay? And the adjective, that in this case we have dangerous, for, phrase, you, and an infinitive, to go, all right? So that's it. If you check, it is quite simple. It's too dangerous for you to go to that neighborhood alone. And you're gonna do more or less the same with the other sentences. Remember, if you have a question, the word order can change. All right, guys, we have a little conversation, so well, let's check it out.
Read and listen to someone warning about a risk.
Excuse me, can you tell me the way to the beach? That way. It's not very far. Thanks. Is it safe to go swimming there? Sure, but be careful. There's sometimes an undertow. Really? Well, it's too dangerous for children to go swimming there, but I'm sure you'll be fine. Thanks for the warning.
Right, so we have some of the grammar we have checked, all right? Like it's too dangerous or and the infinitive. So you can see that you can use it on the daily life. All right, guys, so well, what are we going to do now? Finally, we have warn about a possible risk, all right? How? Well, using the grammar and the vocabulary we have checked. We have in here some suggestions for places and things to do. But for what? Well, to warn about a place. So you're gonna select one place you have visited or one place that you would like to go and give a warning about a danger. I mean, doesn't have to be real, okay, but something related. If you talk about a forest, well, you warn about maybe animals. If you warn about a mountain, well, the danger can be like to fall. Okay, so that's what you're gonna do. For homework, it's warn about a place. Try to talk about a natural place, you know, like a mountain, one of these kind of things. Not only like if you say, I don't know, Independencia, well, yes, it is dangerous, but we are talking about the wildlife, so that's better. All right, a place. Very well, guys, so that's it for the lesson 2. We can move on to the lesson number 3. Okay, just wait a second, here it is. Very well, guys, so this one is mostly vocabulary, so and some audios, but it's nice to do it this way so you can check them again. Very well, guys, so for this we're gonna describe a natural setting. The vocabulary, we have some describing the features or the characteristics. Let's check it out.
Read and listen. Geographic nouns.
A forest, a jungle, a valley, a canyon, an island, a glacier.
Geographic adjectives.
Mountainous, hilly, flat, dry,
arid, lush, green.
Now listen again.
All right, so we have the nouns, that's the places, and the adjectives, okay, how to describe it. We also have some strong positive adjectives or descriptions. We have the scenario was breathtaking. The views were spectacular and the sights were extraordinary. If you remember, sight and views are synonyms, okay, so that's the same. Well, we can talk about many places. Positively, here in Mexico, we have some very beautiful jungles, some, well, in the south mostly. Valleys, we have, like, for example, I think that in Zacatecas and Chihuahua, they have like pretty nice valleys and canyons. And well, we can describe them as hilly and maybe arid in some places or green in some other areas. Well, that's for you to describe one place, all right? But we're gonna do it later. All right, guys, the next thing we have is an audio. This listening is for the main ideas. We have to check it and listen to the description of a memorable trip and answer the question. All right, so I'm gonna play it for you guys.
Read the questions. Listen to a description of a memorable trip and answer the questions.
Last July, my wife and I took a trip to Canada to visit a place called Banff National Park. We flew from Tokyo to Vancouver, which is a beautiful city in the west of Canada, and we rented a car and drove to Banff. It's about 800 kilometers to the east of Vancouver, so it took about 9 hours to get there. The park is located in the southwest corner of the province of Alberta. In Banff, we stayed at a huge old hotel right on Lake Louise. The Lake Louise Hotel is really famous. You can see it in pictures on the internet. It was pretty expensive, but worth it. Lake Louise was breathtaking. It's a beautiful greenish blue color and surrounded by mountains. Even in July, you could still see snow at the top of many of the mountains. The lake was like a mirror. When we hiked around it, we could actually see the mountains and the hotel in the lake. And at the far end of the lake, at the foot of Mount Victoria, you can see Victoria Glacier. It was really spectacular. That's where a lot of the water in Lake Louise comes from. There are lots of hiking paths from Lake Louise, and we hiked every day. The fresh, clean air and green forests were amazing. One day, we actually saw a bear. Another time, we followed the path to Fairview Mountain, which has amazing cliffs, really high up. When you get to the top, the views are fantastic. We also visited Johnson Canyon, a short drive from Lake Louise. There are 7 different waterfalls you can visit. Near some of the falls, the path was a little slippery, so we had to be careful. But each one was extraordinary. My wife couldn't stop taking pictures. We spent 4 days there, and it was an unforgettable trip.
Very well, guys. So you have in there Mr. Mitsushiko, maybe Japanese. Sounds very Japanese. All right, guys. So you have to answer the questions and listen one more time, just going back in this video, and pay attention to how Mr. Yamagichi describes what he saw on his trip. All right. So again, we have in here some of the options. I'm sorry, like a word box. And we're gonna like match it according to the audio, of course. And finally, guys, the now you can part is to describe a natural setting. That's what I told you were going to do. Choose a photo, describe the place, and what a person could do there. Your partner guesses, well, not in this time, right? We cannot do it like that, but we can describe the place. How? On a notepad, the notepad we have on the letter B. Write about a spectacular place you know, or somewhere you would like to visit. You know, in the previous lesson, you warned about the dangers, but now you're gonna talk about the positive things you have in the place. Well, yeah, only one place, whatever country, whatever part of the country you want to talk about. Remember, it is much better if you choose something natural, a natural setting, not only a city, because, well, in a city you can do many stuff, and the dangers are more or less the same, like get robbed or lost, I'm sorry, lose your stuff, those kind of things. But in natural areas, you can find different things. Me, for example, you know, one of the places I would love to visit, it will be Hawaii. You know, I'm trying to write something that I cannot choose the marker. All right. So for me, it will be Hawaii. Description, well, I can say it has the most beautiful looking beaches around, with majestic mountains and spectacular food. Things you can do there: you can go hiking, but also swim with some animals in some parks, and visit small towns in the area. Okay, so that will be my example. You have to do it like that. You don't have to give so many details, but as long as you can describe the positive stuff and the things you can do in that place, that's okay for me. Very well, guys. So, well, that's it for today. Any question or doubt that you have, you can always send me a message. So, goodbye, guys.